Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wealth and Wellness Network, the show that empowers women to reach their greatest income potential using wellness practices that promote prosperity. My name is Letitia Johnson, and I go by La, of course. I am your Wealth and Wellness host. Um, I also have my lovely co-host, Lala. Lalania's on the line. She goes by Lala. Good morning, Lalania.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Good. We're doing great. I am so excited because we had an awesome time in our last show with the lovely Alexis Sonder. Now, if you're just, we had such a great time. Now, if you're if you're
Yes.
just tuning in for the first time or you didn't get a chance to listen to our last show, I urge you to just take a look at that. But just to give you some background, Alexis is a nutrition and holistic beauty advisor. She's on a mission to change the beauty industry and help educate people about the harmful ingredients and toxins in our foods, which cause many of today's diseases. So give a warm round of applause. If you're driving, don't clap.
Keep your hands on the wheel.
But welcome, Alexis Sonder. How are you today, Alexis?
Good morning, ladies. Thank you guys so much for having me on again. I'm so excited to be on.
No problem.
Oh, we're so happy to have you here. You know, when we ended the show last time, I kept thinking about complete wellness, right?
Yeah.
Because it is about that complete wellness. And one thing that came to mind that I think our listeners would really enjoy hearing is, you know, when you started to really make those changes, those diet changes, which you talked about, right? Cutting out all those pieces. How did that connect with your mindset? How did your mindset shift at the same time?
That's good.
Or did it?
Yes, it did. So basically, when you start eating like live plant-based food as opposed to a high sugar processed food diet, you start to feel so much better. I mean, like I said last time, within a couple days, you can really feel the difference in your energy. If you have any like joint aches and pains, they'll start to subside a little bit. So you physically really start to feel better. And then probably in about like 3 to 4 weeks time of eating like that and really cutting out the sugar and the dairy, or maybe not even cutting out completely, but just like really limiting your intake with at least those things, your mind starts to get so much clearer, because a lot of symptoms that people go around every day.
Brain fog.
Brain fog.
I know.
Don't realize.
Yes.
Yeah. So they don't realize that they can't concentrate, they have trouble focusing, and they don't realize what this is. They think it's probably they didn't get enough sleep. They think it's age. They blame it on all different factors, but it's really has to do with what you're eating and what you're putting in your body. I mean, yes, sleep is super important. Getting 8 hours a day, really helps to improve your mood. Also, water intake. You should be drinking half your body weight in ounces every day. But really the nutrition piece is 80% of your weight, your immunity in your gut, and just how you feel. So once you start to change that, yeah, go ahead.
I think you need to say that one more time. How much is it plays a part? Say it one more time, because I think that needs to resonate with people.
Yeah, so nutrition is 80% of the battle with weight loss. People think it's exercise. Exercise is 20%. 80% is nutrition. If you just fixed your nutrition, you would slim down so much. And then the cardio.
Well, it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. Abs are made in the kitchen and defined in the gym.
You cannot outrun a bad diet. You can't exercise a bad diet. You can't. So once I made those changes and I started to really clear my mind, I really wanted to also focus on that negative chatter that was going on in my head. So I was starting to feel so good physically. And then I'm like, why am I beating myself up mentally? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm doing so great with changing my eating habits and I'm feeling so good. I'm like, there has to be another piece to this puzzle.
This is so important. So important what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
so important what you're saying, right? It literally, do you feel like it inspired you
Yes.
to really get aligned?
100%. It's yes. And I started with just like, just people. There was one person in particular that was super significant in my life that introduced me to this whole wellness and nutrition piece. So my best friend Regina, when we became friends 8 years ago, she saw my diet. I met her when I was going through a really bad divorce. She was my yoga teacher. She ended up being my life coach and really getting me through a really horrible time in my life. And so we spent a lot of time together, and she saw how I was eating, and she at the time was vegan. So she definitely played a big part in teaching me about nutrition and, slowly having me cut out the dairy. And then, maybe a couple months later, starting with, substituting my milk and my butter and the cheese for rice cheese, or oils, my cooking oils, from olive oil to a rice bran oil, just like basics I started with. And then, once I got my nutrition under control in about a year, I mean, it really was slow. You can't cut all this stuff out and think like you're gonna all of a sudden stick to it. It's hard.
That's right.
So it took me about a year to really change how I was eating. I cut out the red meat, I cut out the chicken, I started eating more fish. And then she started introducing me to like law of attraction books, like The Secret. Of course I loved, everyone knows that book. And then she started, giving me like little books to read to get me through my divorce, really is what happened. But it also inspired me to really want to take action and improve my life. So now my overall wellness was getting better. My nutrition was awesome. I was feeling great. And now I was like, all right, I got to clean up this life that I have, because I need to make it the best life I can possibly be for my children, for myself. I don't need a man to take care of me anymore. Like, I'm going to do this. And so I started reading, stuff by Rhonda Burns, stuff by, I mentioned Don Miguel Ruiz has a really short, powerful book called The Four Agreements, which really helped me to really not take things personally. That's what that book is about. And then also there's another book that she gave me, was The Game of Life and How to Play It. And that really was about, cutting the trash talk in my head, and also about, instead of being a spectator, really jumping in and taking responsibility for the crap in your life and stop blaming other people. And that was really powerful for me, is like, for people to grasp, because everyone likes to complain, everyone likes to blame other people. But once you grasp that everything in your life that's happening, you have control of it, and you drew it to you. So your experiences you draw to you. So if you want good experiences, you got to start thinking good thoughts.
That's right. Yeah, where you put your energy, where you put your mind is what comes to fruition.
Exactly.
Right.
And we talk about it, Law and I talk about it all the time, because it all comes back to wellness has to do with mindset.
Yes.
And all of the other pieces together. What does total wellness look like? It's mindset, it's nutrition, it's getting those. And it's interesting how they fuse together.
Yeah.
It's sort of like wealth and wellness, right?
Exactly.
You might not connect those two immediately, right? But they are, because what we're attracting, what we're doing when we're in that well space, everything is in abundance.
Yes.
And it literally changes that viewpoint of abundance versus scarcity.
So let's actually talk about that, because that's a great point, and you actually hit on something that I don't feel like a lot of women really connect with, or they don't really think about it. But you talked about the chatter in your head.
Yeah.
So talk about how you worked through that process and shifted your thinking, so then that way you could have better wellness.
Awesome. Okay. So the one thing that I was taught from the get-go about changing my mindset, and the easiest thing for me to grasp, was to pick an affirmation to repeat over and over in your head, because you don't understand how many thoughts that we have a day. Thousands. Okay. Thousands. And they get into your subconscious, And so if you're walking around thinking, oh my God, I don't have enough money for how am I going to pay my bills? Or, that conversation that goes on, or, oh my God, I got a parking ticket. Oh my God, now that money that I was saving is going to have to go to that. And so instead of like when those thoughts come up, so you have to pick an affirmation. So what I did was I Googled Florence Shovell-Shin. Do you know her? Know of her?
I've heard of her, but can
Okay.
you just go a little bit more in detail for our audience?
Yeah, so she's dead now, but she was the queen of affirmations. And basically affirmations work by repeating a thought over and over and over in your head, especially just when you're in the car, when you're in the shower, when you have that downtime for your brain to just go nuts and think of everything you have to do and all the bad thoughts that rush in. So you replace that time that you had, that downtime you have during the day, with an affirmation. And you can go to Florence, I think it's Shovell-Shin. You can go to her website, you can Google her, and just Google like Florence and affirmations, and she'll come up. She's pretty famous. And you can pick thousands depending on what aspect of your life you want to change. So for me, immediately I wanted to change my money story. I wanted more money. That was the one thing when I was going through a divorce. I was like, I had no money. Oh my God. So my mantra became money flows to me easily and naturally.
Yes. Oh,
So
I love
You're
that.
singing to the choir, because we're definitely all about this. I mean, even with my clients, I actually have them build their own reprogramming. We did an exercise on one of the shows where we just talked about, even putting those pieces together and playing like classical music behind it. And listening to it as you're falling asleep, as you're driving, right? Because you do need to feed yourself, your mind, and your body with this positive, moving forward abundance. That's awesome.
You got it. And sleeping.
Exactly. And let me just put a plug in, because, hey, why not? Make sure you definitely check out episode 2, where we talked about your money story and the affirmations, because that's going to be very powerful for you all. So sorry about that, Alexis. I had to do a shameless plug.
It's because that Alexis concurs. She's on it. She was saying that it flows, easily to her. That was the money story she was changing. It's all
there you go.
Yeah. So like whenever I would have the thought of, oh my God, where's my next dollar coming from? Or, oh my God, I need a job. Or, oh my God, my job's not paying enough. Or whatever, like awesome, not awesome, being sarcastic, like horrible thoughts that were going through my head about lack and scarcity and where my next dollar was coming from and how I was going to pay for groceries, because at the end of the month, my money was gone. So, when you have more month than money, that was me forever. So I hooked onto that mantra that resonated with me, that affirmation. Money flows to me easily and naturally. And anytime I would have a negative thought, I'd replace it with that. And then all of a sudden, within time, it took a little bit of time, but my negative thoughts started to get less and less. And I actually looked forward to repeating this sentence over in my head, like all the time throughout the day. It just made me happy, and it really started, there's been studies done. It really changes the frequency in your brain. It really does.
Yes.
And then what it also does is it trains your subconscious mind. So when you repeat something over and over in your head, even though you know it's not true, your brain doesn't know that it's not true. It's just like visualizations. When you visualize something you want to happen, even though it hasn't happened yet, your brain doesn't know the difference between something that you've already experienced and something you want to experience. So if you keep thinking that thought over and over again, or repeating a thought saying over and over again, the subconscious mind starts to change. And that's what you really have to train to be able to change your life.
So that's so good. That's so good. It makes so much sense. And you know what? It actually reminds me of something that I actually do. I was anti this and when I was first introduced, but I realized it was necessary, and now it's a part of my daily habit. So let's kind of talk about meditation, because this is what I do is I actually implement my affirmations into my meditation and kind of jumpstart my day like that. So let's
Oh,
talk a little
nice.
bit about meditating, because I know that's something that you're an advocate for, and it's something that has helped you in this area as well.
Yeah, I mean, not only me, but like, Oprah Winfrey, she got a hold of meditation from Deepak Chopra taught it to
Mm-hmm.
her. And she all of a sudden did this whole episode. It was probably a couple of episodes on her show about transcendental meditation. And she did shows on, meditation being offered in schools. Howard Stern's a big advocate for meditation. Jim Carrey, Will Smith, all the people that are really advocates for law of attraction and positive thoughts, and really have done it and changed their lives because they saw that it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just your gurus and your Deepak Chopras that get into meditation. It's really people, even celebrities, that have totally completely transformed their lives. So, and there's been studies done, when you start meditating, on day 1, take a picture of yourself. And then on day 30, take another picture of yourself and put them in that like Frame-matic thing, that app, you can put side-by-side pictures together, and you'll
Yep.
see how drastically different you look. It's like,
That's good.
bizarre. But so, and I know people are like scared of meditation because all they think is they close their eyes and then all the shitty thoughts just keep coming out. And they can't sit with themselves. Most people can't sit with themselves. If people need the TV.
It's a very difficult process because we're in a world of overstimulation.
Yes.
And that's probably why you see that shift in energy when you take that photo, right? Because you're seeing that you're coming to more of a grounded and, again, complete wellness space and state, and those things show and illuminate from us.
It does.
That energy, that flow.
Totally. And so I always tell people, like, when I first started, it was like 5 minutes of hell. When I closed my eyes, I was like, you know what I mean? I was like,
I'm sorry to hear that.
How do people do this? I mean, I can't stop thinking. And then I started with Deepak Chopra's guided meditations.
Yes.
So that really helped me. I needed someone to talk to me and talk me through it, and tell me to breathe, and and bring me back. Because in Deepak's meditations, he'll be like, okay, thoughts are okay to come in. Just watch them come in like it's a movie, but bring yourself back to, and he'll give you something to chant. He'll give you, so you're focused on that rather than, your whatever, thoughts that you keep thinking of, and then you're like, all of a sudden 5 minutes later, like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be meditating. Shit, I just thought of like 20 different things. No.
Disclaimer.
He gives you something to focus on, like Om or some kind of like Indian word to say, and you say it over and over, and he's got music, and so that really helped me get into it. But when I started with Lisa Nichols' visual,
my favorite. Love her.
With her visualization meditations, that really did it for me. That's what resonated with me, because I'm more visual, and it was so awesome to hear her. She actually walks you through a visualization that she used to visualize because she wanted to be a motivational speaker for her whole, forever, as long as she can remember. And she didn't even know how to go about doing it, but she started visualizing it, and she walks you through like a whole like 20 to 30-minute visualization that she used to do. And it's so powerful that at the end of it, I was like crying. That's how much she made you experience and feel it. It felt so real. And so after that, I was like, wow, visualizing something really changes something within you, that it brought up this emotion. And that's the thing with law of attraction. You can say and repeat whatever you want in your mind, but if you're not bringing emotion to it and really feeling it, nothing's going to change for you.
And I know you mentioned a lot of gurus, and I highly respect all of the people that you mentioned, but you're so humble. Let's talk about your 21-day meditation plan that you actually have, because you have really mastered this thing. And
Mhm.
I this is something, like I said, that I'm starting to incorporate, but I am by no means an expert, or, I still have to work on
I
my
think you lit
chatter.
up at the end of our first episode with her when she mentioned it. In fact, I think you even gave some kind of a glee scream, if I recall. I'm gonna play it back tonight soon.
I saw fireworks.
And say, what did she say? What did La say? Yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, so let's
Absolutely.
walk us through kind of like some of the things
Okay.
that you do in your plan, because you really rock this thing when it comes to meditation.
Yeah. So basically, I didn't want to overwhelm myself. I said, okay, I'm going to give myself 21 days, because it takes about that time to change any kind of habit, any kind of behavior. So 21 days, just commit to that. And this is going to be some homework for you and for your listeners to try. Just give it a try. Start with 5 minutes. And what you do is you close your eyes, you take 3 deep breaths. So you breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 2, and then breathe out your mouth, and do that 3 times. Close your eyes, and that helps you to relax and kind of clear your mind. You feel your shoulders start to drop down. You start to notice, your hands and your feet and everything relaxing. And then close your eyes, and then you're going to visualize a blank piece of paper. So this piece of paper is going to be the start of your new vision for yourself, and the start of you creating your personal destiny. So now what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to visualize anything you want to be a part of this new you. So there are no limitations. So you can start in the current time, and just what do you see when you close your eyes and on this piece of paper, like as if you were clipping out pictures from a magazine. Okay, so you want to put on, what house do you want? What's your dream house? What's your dream car? What's your dream job? How about your body? What do you want your body to look like? Even words like optimal health and wellness, millionaire mindset, or luxury vacations. Whatever you want to happen, you can use pictures, phrases, anything that speaks to you, and put it on your piece of paper. And make sure you're visualizing all aspects of your life. So this means, like I said, perfect partner, perfect job. Is there a specific car or house you want? And picture yourself healthy and perfect. And any self-doubt or mind chatter that gives you negative thoughts, just gently remind yourself that the person tied to those beliefs no longer exists, and dismiss them. That's super important. And then now that you've visualized, all this new you, you're going to involve your senses. So I want you to really feel how this true you feels being in that space. Feel the excitement of having your dream partner or your ideal job. And then you're going to put yourself in that space so you can embrace it. And most importantly, start to convince your mind that it's real. Because your mind, like I said, doesn't recognize reality from fantasy. So the more you truly tell yourself that this is you, your mind will begin to believe, and your old behaviors, habits, values, and patterns will change.
Wow.
So, and then you can take it one step further, and you can start to visualize where you'll be in 1 year, then in 5 years. And again, feel yourself as these people. What do you look like physically, emotionally, financially? And start to bring yourself back to the present once you've gone through all of this, and you feel like, okay, you've got a good handle on what your life will look like. You can then start to bring yourself back to the present, and create a safe space for your virtual vision board. And you can actually like visualize yourself storing it in a safe place. Like I lock mine up in a closet. So every time I sit down to do my meditation and I get through my 3 breaths in the beginning and I relax, I go where I put my key and I unlock the door where my vision board is.
That's
and
awesome.
I take it out. Yeah.
I like it. I like that. Even the virtual vision board, right?
Yeah.
I love that, even as just a statement all on its own.
You should see us in the studio right now. Lala and I
Oh no,
are
I'm a
just
note
like
taker.
lost.
Oh yeah.
I definitely was dreaming right now.
I think she was creating her vision board. I'm her virtual vision board. I'm glad she's back.
I was in space for a moment.
Also, one other thing that's super important is writing. Written statements. The universe will really respond not only to your feeling your visualizations and seeing it, but once you open your eyes, just jot down a few things in a journal that you can remember from the new you that you created. And, you know, maybe carry that around with you and refer to it during the day. Just open the book and read what you wrote down.
Oh, this is
That's
awesome.
lovely. That's really
This is
lovely.
wonderful.
So you start with that 5 minutes. And so when you first did that, you know, the first time, right, when you were creating that habit, that 21 days, because now it is a ritual of what you
Yes.
do. How did you move with your time? You know, if you started at 5 minutes, tell us about the progression of how you got to where you really are today as it embedded is part of who you are.
Yeah, so I started with 5 minutes, not to like totally overwhelm myself, and because I knew if I committed to anything more, I just would like, you know, get too overwhelmed and just not do it. So
Right.
5 minutes, close my eyes, and I found myself after like 2 or 3 days, I found myself like really enjoying this exercise and wanting to continue, you know, the visualizations in my mind. So all of a sudden by like day 3, it was 15 minutes. I opened my eyes, it was 15 minutes. I'm like, wow, that went, that felt like a minute. And then the next day it was like maybe, you know, 16, 17 minutes. I stretched out. And then by the end of the week, it turned out to 20, 25 minutes. And it really felt like 5 minutes. And I would open my eyes like so excited. I like would go to work so in such a good mood, so happy, because I was like really believing the stuff that I was visualizing and knowing that if I keep doing this and keep it up, no matter how long it took, I'm gonna make it a physical reality. I mean,
Yes.
there's science that backs this up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Alexis, please tell our audience one more time how they can get in contact with you and stay connected to the great work that you're doing in the community.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook. Just type in Alexis Sonder, Sonder, and I'll come up. I also have my plant-based community where I post recipes and healthy tips, and you know, the community talks back and forth, and we share ideas about, you know, how to become healthier and live a healthier lifestyle without being overwhelmed. And it's a really great community, and it's called Oh How We Glow. So, you know, click on
Love that.
Yeah, and you can find me there. You can message me, talk to me on there. And then I also have an Instagram account, which I think I forgot to mention last time. It's called Happy Holistic Life. And I post like a bunch of just inspirational things, like just all about healthy living and luxury living. So so that's
Great.
great. Yeah, and then I
Great
also have
stuff, Alexis.
I have my beauty counter business, which if you want healthy, non-toxic products, shampoo, conditioner, face stuff, skincare, makeup, it's beautycounter.com/Alexis Sonder.
Awesome stuff, Alexis. Everyone, the great Alexis Sonder. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
stopping
ladies.
by with us again today.
Yeah, I loved having you. Thank you.
We love having you. You know, you're able to stop by whenever you want. There's an open invitation. So thank you so much for joining us today. It was such a pleasure. And I'm sorry, everyone. That's all the time we have for today. Wah, 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 wah. Make sure that you definitely follow Alexis. And for past shows, Wealth and Wellness Network shows, go to wealthandwellnessnetwork.com. So simple. But until next time, be well. Make sure you be well. Implement a lot of these skills. Hey, do your homework. Make sure that you do your meditation, guys. I'm telling you, you'll love it. So we'll see you next Monday morning, 8 a.m., same time, same place. And have a great, productive week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.